A symbolic change is bothering some Minnesotans, and their local leaders are listening. Several cities recently voted to fly the old state flag instead of the new one. In tonight's Good Question, Jeff Wagner explores the evolution of the flag and how it reached this turbulent turning point.
A flag meant to represent the North Star State has become a proverbial line in the sand. One side is people embracing the new design. The other, upset that it changed to begin with or how the process went down. While it was a drastic redesign, it wasn't the first. How often has the Minnesota state flag changed? Good question. We talked with Bill Convery, the Director of Research at the Minnesota Historical Society.
It's undergone some large and small changes, probably counting them up about 4 over the century or so.
What we refer to as the old flag wasn't the state's first flag. That came in 1893. It was white on the front, but blue on the back. A stylized version of the state seal was in the center, and Minnesota was written below waving red ribbons. But by the 1950s, its appeal was fading.
Minnesota legislators realized that people just weren't flying the Minnesota flag, in part because it was so large and so heavy that it tore apart in high winds. And it was also very expensive because it was made out of 2 layers of silk. And so legislators in 1957 voted to simplify the design of the Minnesota flag.
It went from 2 layers of silk to 1 layer of blue fabric. The state seal remained, but with a simpler design, and the red ribbons were removed.
That flag looked a lot more like what Minnesotans were used to, up until the last few years.
There was a small change in 1983, not so much in how the flag looked, but how the image in the seal was understood.
The symbology of a Native person writing to the west symbolized the removal of Native people. And so the legislature in 1983 voted to not change the orientation of the Native on horseback, but to change the wording and basically legislate that the Native person was writing to the south.
Fast forward to the 2000s, and legislators on both sides of the aisle start proposing bills to change the state flag before it mainly became a DFL-led effort. 3 years ago, the state asked residents to design a new one. More than 2,000 submissions came in, featuring all types of Minnesota symbols and colors. The public sounded off, submitting more than 20,000 comments.
And that was much more public comment than ever happened in 1893 or 1957 or 1983.
A state-appointed commission then whittled it down to 6 choices before choosing the current design. It features a North Star atop a dark blue background mirroring Minnesota's shape. The remaining light blue represents water, honoring the state's iconic lakes and rivers. With photojournalist Jose Pascual, Jeff Wagner, WCCO News.
The old flag's depiction of Native Americans wasn't the only concern. Some flag experts also mock the design, calling it an SOB, or seal on a bedsheet. If you have a good question for Jeff, it's easy to get a hold of him. Just head to WCCO.com.